What's up, guys? It's been a while since I don't make any videos. To be fair, last module 25, I didn't get to play the trial, so I didn't get anything new, although I did some switching around in the builds. But now this module 126, we have some brand new weapons, brand new gear, which makes a lot of difference in the build. That's why I'm gonna be updating my Cleric Healer build. I'm probably gonna forget some things I have to say to you guys, but probably just gonna throw the build at you. If you have any questions, just leave in the comment section. I know there's a bunch of ways to build your character. Just try to make my build so we don't need consumables or we don't need the expensive consumables one. If you're using the consumables, you can make some tweaks here and there to get the most out of the stats. If I remember, I'll try to do some variations for you guys, try to talk about some. So my first piece that I'm using here, the helmet, is the Ultimate's Restoration. I'm using that for the Divinity Regeneration. You get that from Temple of Spider. You get the legendary version of it, and you have to, I think it's the Men's Embarrassing campaign, go farm some encounters, do some stuff there to upgrade the piece of gear to Mythic. It's a pretty big boost. I think the legendary version gives 10%. This gives 20. It's a really nice piece of gear here. For the chest piece, I'm using the one from the Dragon Hunts that gives outgoing healing and forte to allies. Ideally, you wanna be using the new chest piece that comes from the Master Demon Web pits. I think it only drops from the last boss. It's just super rare right now. It's not dropping properly. So maybe in the next update they will fix it and I'll get that. It's just a straight upgrade from this one. It gives the same amount of outgoing healing. However, it gives critical strike instead of forte. It gives 2% critical strike to allies. So it's great. It's what you want to be using. The the arms, I'm using the one from Master Demon Web Pits. It gives us critical strike and forte. I'm using the brand new weapons. You can still be running master weapons. I just felt like changing around because it's a really old weapon. It's a really low level item level one. I don't know. I just wanted to change, but it has a lot going for us. It has a really high item level. It gives damage in the ratings, which increases our healing, and it also gives 5% critical strike and 5% critical severity, which help us doing the build. For the for the boots, I'm using the one for the Dragon Seals. It gives 10,000 outgoing healing rating. Usually don't cap outgoing healing rating, so we can make the use of that. For the artifact set, the neck and waist and the artifact, I'm using the new metal set. It's just a straight up upgrade from the Apocalypse set. Remember that the cleric cannot use the Vistani, so he has to use one of those if you want to help the team. If you don't want to help the team, you have another options, which is the Tiamat set. You can use the Assassin's Luck set. You you can use the one from the Dragon Hunts, Dragons of Bruges. But usually in the end game, the cleric is using some stuff to help the team buff or debuff the enemies. That's the way I build. I think most of the clerics do as well. The thing is, if a DPS is using this, you gotta go back to Apocalypse because they do stack. So unfortunately, again, we gotta have to take the L and go use the low item level item. For the rings, I'm using the brand new ring Opal Abyssal Loop that increases the multi-target heals effectiveness by 7%. That goes over the cap. So although my outgoing healing is at max, it still increases the healing. increases the healing of a healing word, increases the healing of the Hallowed Ground, the Angel, the Guardian of Life. You just gotta have to uh, use the power of more than 3 people, which you normally do anyway. So that just increases our heal, guys. And for the other ring, I'm using the one from the Dragon Hunts because critical strike is what you usually we usually looking for in the build. Is the problematic stack for the cleric. Our shirt is the outgoing healing one, the old one. It gives 5% outgoing healing. And the pants, it's a new one that you get from the encounters of the new zone. It gives 5% power and defense whenever we have no teammates within 30 feet. The description is a little bit off. You only need to have one teammate away from you for this to proc, so it's up almost at it's quite easy to maintain this buff. You just have to keep a distance from the tank, and that's it, which you normally do. If you're behind, the tank is in the front of the boss, and you are behind the boss, just a step away of it, you got the buff. So it's really easy to maintain. For the artifacts, use whatever you have. I have some the meta set, of course. We could be using the high item level ones. I just don't have those. And for the main artifact set, we usually run the clerics, usually run the healers, usually run the Lasted Blast Scepter, which is a low item level artifact, but it's one of the best debuffing ones. We use it because it's low item level. The DPS don't want to use low item level stuff, so we take the L again. The stats, let's take a look at the stats. We have here 7.71.5% power. We still gonna get more of it. We still need more 15 from the Raptor and 5 from the Watermelon Sorbet that we use, so we kept the power stat. Critical strike is we're gonna get 5 from the weapon, that's 7.9, that's 7.9. You get 7.5 from the enchantment, so we almost kept out of there. It's like 88.5. Critical severity, we will get 10% from consumables, which is the flex of a potency and the wild storm elixir. The outgoing healing, we're gonna cap that as well. We have the boots that we are in a group. We get 10,000 ratings. We're gonna lose a little bit of ratings, but we still have the gear, the chest piece as well. That'll give us more 6% outgoing healing. So I'm gonna cap all stats besides the critical chance, which are gonna be at 88.5. For the enchantments, I'm using 3 offensive garnets, 1 jade to the defense. Use whatever you have. I just have the variety of those just in case I needed to switch around. For the combat enchantment, we can use for the stats Mythic like Flash that gives 7.5 critical chance, which is what we normally use. But you can use it as well, the Mythic Reforgement Fortification. It reduces our incoming the damage we take and reduces the damage the tank takes or everybody takes when you cast a single target heal on this. It works better than you would expect because the healing word, when you cast the healing word, the first hit of healing word is considered a single target heal. So it procs for 5 seconds, as you saw there. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna proc again. So we get every time you cast a healing word, the first hit is a single target heal. You can use that knowledge to your advantage. If you want to cap critical chance, you can use the Devil's Precision. It's fine. You can use, depending on what you're doing, you can use a ward to get the damage reduction for your allies. For example, in the brand new dungeon, you want to be running Demon Ward because you get everybody 10% damage reduction of it. You can also use the White Dragon Glyph. That's what I normally use. I didn't test it to see if it works, but I would assume it is. It's a healing bonus on top of what you have for the allies when healing allies. When it comes to the powers, I'm running Scattering Light just to animation cancel to get the action points. I'm using a Blast of Light to get some uh, more increased heal on my encounters. It just works. It doesn't work in a heal over time of a healing word. It just works on the initial heal of whatever you want to cast. It works in a Bash on Health. It works in Intercession and the initial heal of a healing word. I usually run those encounters, which is Divine Glow, Healing Word, and Intercession. I think we have a bunch of Divinity Regeneration, so you can also go with full encounters to heal, like Bash on Health in a place of Divine Glow, and just use that. If you if you're doing easy content, you certainly can do that. I'm just not sure if you can do that in a very end game if you don't have a very high damage group. Because you, even though you have a bunch of divinity regeneration with this build, we're gonna run out if you keep on casting Bastion of Health. For the dailies, we gotta use Hollow Ground. We gotta use Guardian of Life. That's the best ones. We use Guardian of Life in most scenarios because it's just a really strong hero over time. But in some cases, we do have to use Hollow Ground to get the damage reduction and the heals going. For the class feature, I'm gonna be using the Spended Faith and the Hello Guide. If you followed me, I I've been I've always used Overflowing Spirits because it's a huge buff. It's a huge buff. 25% is a huge buff. It's better than anything available in any class, I believe. The thing is, we gotta have the Divinity full. Because right now in the build, we are able to cap everything without this perk, I decided to remove it. That's only for that reason, man. We can now cap all the stats, including outgoing healing, without the need of this perk. That's why I remove it. If you do want to use this perk, you can still use it. As I said, if you switch things around, if I switch everything that is giving me outgoing healing and use this perk, I can maybe uh, remove the need of other consumables and get some more supportive gear to help the DPSs and things. But I don't think that's a big deal. I'm gonna talk to you about later. So for the first feat, I'm gonna use repeated blessings. That's whenever you cast a healing word, you have a chance. The no repeated no sorry repeated blessings is that whenever you cast a power that consumes divinity, you extend the duration of the healing word. So if you cast the healing word, you cast Bastion of Health on top of that, you increase the duration of a healing word by 6 seconds. It doesn't go over the initial duration, so it's always gonna be 6 seconds. It's always gonna be 18 seconds most, but it's really useful in some scenarios. For instance, when you take a lot of damage in brand new trial, you can just cast the healing word. When you cast the Hollow Ground, it's gonna keep your healing word up until the Hollow Ground expires. You see, the healing word is not, the timer is not taking that, is not going down. It will only go down when the Hollow Ground expires. So it's a very nice tool to have. I don't usually extend the duration with the for anything else with Bash on Health. I think it's not useful, that useful. You just extend it accidentally. But the Hollow Ground is what I use for that. The Guardian Life does not extend the duration very much. It only extends the duration in the initial heal. And let me see. I got the max AP here to see. So we have 16 seconds. I'm gonna cast it. It goes back to 18. It only extends in the initial hit. So just so everybody knows. Uh, for the next feat, you gotta take that one. Divine Glow and Exaltation decrease your damage you're taking. This is a must as well. That makes the Guardian of Life awesome. This is just an awesome daily. It's the best daily of a healer in the game. I give it in my opinion. And the last, I take the Angel of Life. So this is for the oh shit moment where you don't have divinity and you want to spam your daily in encounters. You're gonna activate. You have to cast it. You're gonna have infinite divinity, and you can keep on casting that for uh for a couple. I think let me see. You can keep on casting that for 12 seconds. You can keep on casting Healing Word without spending divinity. For the boons, just take the first of all, you gotta take the offensive ones, of course. You got power, critical severity, critical strike, power. You're gonna take all those. Movement speed after. You're gonna take the defensive ones after. Then you're gonna go outgoing healing and action point gain. That's what I have. You can do outgoing healing in the forte, but we don't need critical severity. So I usually go with the action point gain in the cleric. For the master boon, I'm using the blast resilience. It helps the tank, gives defense, gives increased max health, and heal the stamina. You can go with the blast advantage as well. It helps the DPS, it gives them power, but I don't think the DPS need more power. So that's why I go with the blast resilience. When it comes to companion, guys, as an active companion, you just gotta have something that supports the group. Why I cannot change my companion? Huh. So you want to have like I use the Intellect Devour for AoE scenarios. It stuns the targets. You can for a bunch you can use the Spine Devil to increase the damage of the party. It gives 10% to everybody. You can use the Tutor. It gives 5% combat advantage. You can use the Portobello that gives 3.5 combat advantage and power. It also helps you. You can use the Dritz that gives 3% damage to everybody. You can use the Black Death Scorpion that gives combat advantage to everybody. Although I recommend 1 DPS to use the Black Death Scorpion because it's also a really good damage companion. So you can use the Lion as well. It's not as good as the other ones, but it supports as well. There's a bunch you can use. For the bonus, as I said, we're trying to buff and debuff the enemies as much as we can because when you are a cleric, the only thing you do with your kit is heal. So we have to have external sources of debuff and buffing. So we use the enhancement dual senses. It's usually what you use because the tank is running the armor break. Where's that? Tank is usually using the armor break, which reduces the enemy defenses. But if you're in a trial scenario, you're gonna have to coordinate with that. Ideally, the tank, one is gonna use the armor break, one's gonna use the slow reactions, one's gonna use the vulnerability, and the other one's gonna use dual senses. You're gonna have them all to reduce the enemy defenses. I'm using for the equipment the one that gives outgoing healing. You can get from the campaign. I think it's North Dark Riches. You just gotta have to farm the campaign. We don't even need to farm the dungeon, the MTOS. For the bonus, I'm using Quickly Wisdom that gives outgoing healing and critical strike. This is a quite expensive companion. It comes on green. It's like 800k in the PlayStation right now. It comes in green. You have to upgrade it to mythic. So you need a lot of companion tokens. I'm using a Fall Instincts, which is very cheap. Again, it comes on green, so we have to upgrade all the way up to mythic. Golden bullet is really expensive. Use the black dragons inside. You can use the brand new one. If you bought the battle pass and you finished the first part of it, you can use the brand new companion as well. It gives critical strike as well. And Raptor is a must, guys. It gives us 15, 18% power, so it's a must. For the mounts, I usually run with the Pegasus, uh, whatever equip power I need, the group needs. Either Runic Aura or Mystic Aura or Pack Tactics, I believe that gives combat advantage for everyone. For the insignia bonus, I don't have all four yet because I want a four mouth insignia to give magistrative patience. I'm using Shepherd Devotion whenever I do a daily. Well, the teammates get a buff and movement speed, I believe. Gladiator's Ghoul to give me some movement speed and stamina regen. Magistrate's Patience, whenever we take a critical strike damage, we receive a boost to defensives like critical avoidance and everything. The reason I want this in the build is because the critical heals also proc that. So we are proccing that every time for everybody. Mender's Covenant then gives us a little bit of offensive stats. We have Alliance Perseverance. It's not great. I would change that for other things, but I wanted the 4 slot mount bonus, so I'm using that. When it comes to insignias, I'm using mostly brutality. I think I have only 2 aggressions and 3 dominances. That's it, man. That's the build. Of course, as I said, you can switch things around if you're willing to use some consumables. For example, if you've been farming the new campaign, let me see here. If you're farming the new campaign, there are various new consumable you can buy that gives outgoing healing ratings, which is this one. Batchwing Soup, it gives 4,000 outgoing healing. If I were to use this consumable, which is, it doesn't expire if you die. If I were to use this consumable, I could just switch my boots around. I don't know why I'm coming now. Yeah, I'm in comment, man. I'm gonna get out of here. Sorry. So I was saying, if you were to use the consumable, you could then use this new boots here that you get from farming the new dungeon. That gives a little less ratings and outgoing healing, but it gives us Forte as well. Forte for the cleric is Divinity Regen, so it's a really useful. We get a little more item level. It's gonna be great. You could also run with the new boots, another new boot that you get from dropping in the campaign, which is this one. Whenever you critically heal a teammate with a single target heal, the target will receive 3% combat advantage and critical avoidance. We're gonna be losing a little bit of outgoing healing. If we put that boot, we're gonna lose 5.
Please let me know.
We wouldn't cap if we use that boot, so you're gonna have to change for something like, I know, the rain catcher that gives more outgoing healing, or you can just remove this ring and use an old one that gives 5% outgoing healing, which is fine as well. There's a bunch of switching around you can do to try to get more of the build. I just don't use the boot because I don't think it's reliable. No DPS is gonna build around having 3% more combat advantage for 4 seconds whenever I critically heal. It works okay because, as I said to you, the healing word, the initial hit counts as a single target heal, so it will proc this boot, the boot, but I just don't think it's that reliable. We're better off using the outgoing heal.
If you have any questions, please let me know.
I'm sure there are a couple other things you can do. You can certainly go back to the old gloves that gives 7.5 power whenever you're healing person. Just gonna have to switch things around again. You have to switch you're probably not gonna need the pants. You're probably gonna have to switch some companions around. That's why I have most I could get from that gives power, critical strike, and outgoing healing. The problem is outgoing healing, guys. We don't have a lot of companions that give outgoing healing, and I think only besides the golden bullet that it's pure outgoing healing, we only have one that gives 2 offensive stats, which is the quickling. And after that, we only have like outgoing healing. The best we have is outgoing healing and forte. So you just have to understand that you need what you need: power, critical strike, critical severity, outgoing healing, and you guys can do the switching around depending on what you have available. Oh, guys, that's the build I've been running to do. I've been using on the brand new dungeon.